Oi, oi, oi. Hello there, fellow fog inhabitants, fog people. Welcome back to another tutorial. I hear it often enough that our fellow killer mains don't quite know how to loop the L-wall, T-wall structures. They see streamers do it on Twitch, they try it, sometimes works, sometimes it doesn't, and they don't know why. So let's discuss that today in this very tutorial on how to anti-loop the LT wall and get those dirty survivors. So let's start at the beginning here. The L wall T wall is an obstacle that is shaped as it is named. Two structures, one shaped like an L and one shaped like a T. They both feature a window that survivors can vault through to escape you or bamboozle you. Now that we've kind of seen the structure here, let's discuss kind of our very first tip, right, which is counterclockwise movement. Now, smart survivors will use the LT wall clockwise, meaning they will jump through the window, fast vault, and rotate to the right. They'll vault the next window, and they'll rotate to the right. And they'll keep doing that over and over in a circle. Windows will lock the survivors out of a vault after 3 vaults in the same chase. So survivors can waste a good amount of time here. They get 3 vaults per window. So for all of you killers out there, let's start here. My advice to you is do not run the L wall T wall clockwise and to the right on the outside edge. If you see a survivor start to rotate the windows clockwise, you'll cut through the middle. So you'll go in through the middle to the right and then cut left counterclockwise around the back of the furthest wall, rotating left. What this does is makes it so that survivors can't use both windows incredibly effectively and throws off any momentum they may have had. And now the survivor options are to unsafely vault or to get mind gamed, and that's where we are going to go to next. So bear with me now. Tip number 2 is the Moonwalk Mindgame. Now this mind game is interesting, and it's going to follow up directly after the counterclockwise rotation. So as you move counterclockwise from the inside middle of the LT to the outside of the furthest wall, you'll see the survivor generally jump through the window and rotate to the left. All right, as they rotate left, you'll follow them, obviously, follow their lead. Now, most survivors, depending on your rank, will immediately turn inwards to try to hit their window again. So they'll hit the window they just came through. Now, this is where the mind game comes in. You're going to walk forward on the outside of the wall and basically show your red stain. You're going to fake the red stain that they see to track you and make them think that you're coming up right behind them, which will induce them to vault. As they vault the window, you're going to keep facing the direction you're facing, but moonwalk backwards, all right, so that you don't show your red stain on the side they're emerging from, and then you'll get the hit on them as they emerge from the window, all right? Now, the thing about this technique is that you're not going to be able to use this against baby survivors that are ranked 20, 19, 18. A lot of those survivors don't necessarily know how to use LT walls in a way that enables you to use this. So be careful. In some cases you will, but in other cases it's not going to happen. You're actually going to use this a lot in the middle ranks. So somewhere in the greens and purples and maybe even into the reds, but we'll talk about that later. So you have time to practice this, you have time to put this into use, and if it's not working for you, there's definitely ways that you can tweak this, but generally speaking, this technique works pretty dang often. So tip number 3, the moonwalk fake. So we're going to be faking a moonwalk in this one. So this one, I recommend you really master the applications of the moonwalk. You get very good at what that means and how to recognize whether you can or cannot hit that moonwalk pretty regularly. Before you move on to this one, I really got to stress that. But this one's going to be interesting, all right? So we're going to start again with the counterclockwise rotation around the outside wall. So if you're at the middle of the LT wall and you're following the survivor as they vault the window and you're moving to the left with them, the idea here is the survivor thinks you're going to moonwalk, all right? So what you want to do is actually walk forward and show your red stain and then turn around. Now, as you turn around, the survivor is going to assume that you're doubling back to the other side of the window, so they're going to fake the window vault and not go for it. Lucky for you, as you turned around, you're actually walking backwards into the middle of the LT wall, where you'll emerge and probably get a free hit on the survivor as they try to slow vault the window on the other side, or as they just try to leave the loop altogether. The biggest thing about this technique is that you really have to use it on the right people. This is not going to work on your average survivor who is just making guesstimate choices or decisions, all right? Because the entire point of this technique is to fake the survivor or bait them into making a choice based on where you are. So if a survivor is not paying attention to where you are, if they're not looking at your red stain, the odds are is you're gonna play yourself here a little bit. So keep that in mind. Really use this on survivors that you have observed to be paying attention to you very, very closely, okay? We have a few additional tips here that we're going to give here at the end section. What I will say about all of these is that they're situational, and most of it's a 50-50 based on what the survivor does. You're basically just trying to induce the survivor to do something. So they're not foolproof. They won't always work. Something that you could really try doing is conditioning the survivor, or at least I call it conditioning the survivor. So if you want to condition the survivor to think that you're a bit of a dummy killer and you're running clockwise around the LT wall, make one clockwise rotation around the LT wall and then cut counterclockwise through the middle on the second rotation and then go for the moonwalk. This could throw them off enough to go, okay, he's not a dummy. Suddenly he got the hit. Where did this come from? Conditioning the survivor to think you're going to do one thing, that's what makes these particular mind games very, very strong. So consider trying a moonwalk, and if it doesn't work, then try the reverse moonwalk or vice versa. And condition them to think that you're not going to do either of those things for a little while. Remember that timing and distance is very, very important here on most of these jukes and any jukes that we're going to talk about in the future, right? All of these mind games are going to be depending upon how close you are to the survivor, their timing. Do they slow vault? Do they fast vault? There's going to be little variables that I necessarily can't teach you, but you're going to have to get a feel for. So be sure you're paying attention to if you're whiffing shots, or if you're getting the moonwalk, but they're still getting a lot of distance on you. Okay, maybe moonwalk sooner, start moving a little sooner. There's all kinds of things to learn, so be sure you're paying attention and learning. This is going to take a lot of time and many, 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 many hours to understand and learn. So just be sure you're taking your time and being patient. And that is it for the video. Did you guys find this helpful? If you did, let me know in the comments below. What is the next structure that you need help with? Is it the shack? Is it jungle gyms? Is it pallet gyms? Do you even know what a pallet gym is? I don't know, but I need you guys to get some water, unclench your jaw, and of course, I will pray to the entity to see you in the next video.